Hello, and welcome to Talking Truth Ministries, where my goal is to share the truth to the best of my ability, no matter which direction it may take us. Today is Phlatt Friday, and I was supposed to have two guests with me, and I don't know what happened. My son and my nephew were supposed to join me today, and my son texted me a little while ago and said that, well, let me see what he said. He said, I won't be for a little while. What time did we say anyway? So, and I never heard back from my nephew. So we're just going to go ahead and do our program today. What I'm just going to do tonight, I'm just going to go through some of these popular memes and kind of explain what they are. I know our movement gets a lot of criticism for using memes to try to prove science, but if they establish some interesting information, I should say, if they demonstrate some interesting information, what's the harm if we just kind of go through them, and I'll try to explain them the best I can. So sunlight was, now Eratosthenes was a supposed person back in 2000 years ago or whatever that determined through sunlight that the earth was curved. And I'm not going to go into the whole experiment tonight. Maybe I'll do it on a different show, but according to this meme here, this image, which one of these two, the top one or the bottom, looks real? Now, we've all driven down the road and seen the sunlight coming through the clouds at an angular. They're called crepuscular rays. Now, if the sun was millions of miles away and millions of times bigger than the earth, or whatever it is, hundreds of times bigger, the rays will come perpendicular. They would be straight all the way through. But if you look at this bottom image, the crepuscular rays, you can triangulate and see that the sun cannot be that far away. In fact, look at the hot spot right there. I mean, there's one spot of the cloud should not be any brighter than any of the others. It would look more like what's on top here, all these bright spots. But you're just seeing this centralized spot here. So it seems to indicate that the sun is not 93 million miles away. Now, if you look at these pictures of the horizon, they all look pretty flat. There's no curvature there. I mean, sometimes our mind has been programmed to expect curvature, but so it may appear like there is, but if you put a straight edge against that, you'll see that there's no curvature on the horizontal line to the left and the right. Now, if you was to go out straight ahead in this image, like on the bottom one, it looked like out to sea or whatever, away from the land, you would expect curvature. But in reality, it doesn't happen. It's not there. There's videos I'll upload later to show that. This here is a speculation on what may be out here. Now here, I'm trying to see which one of these is supposed to be our Earth. See, these are just ideas, artist conception on maybe what's outside of Antarctica. We're not saying any of this is real, just possibilities. Here's some different flat Earth maps. Here's that other one. Here's that one again. So this is us here. This is Antarctica around here. But what's outside of Antarctica? These are all just different. But this one here is the Gleason's New World map. This was actually in textbooks up until the mid 20th century. and in libraries and stuff. Then all of a sudden it started to disappear. Let me zoom this in here. This one here is water always lies flat. Water always finds its level. So which part of water can't curve around and stick to a spinning ball? Can't you understand? So if you think about it, look at the water. It's flat. There's no curve to it. Water always lies flat. It doesn't, any large body of water. Now, yes, of course, a water drop may be round. That's because of surface tension. But just think about it. If you go to the ocean or any large, like Lake Michigan, where I've been recently, it's flat out there. There's no curvature. And then think about the fact that the Earth is spinning at 1,040 miles an hour at the equator. What is keeping the water from spinning off? Now they say gravity, but gravity is, they say, is a weak force. Gravity is strong enough to hold the water down, but it's not strong. But we can jump off the ground and not be held to the ground, or a butterfly can fly, or wind can move up and down or around. Gravity is a joke. Here's 100% proof that the North Pole people on Jupiter celebrate the 4th of July. Ha 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 ha. See what they can do with Photoshop. This is not, supposedly there's these northern lights on Jupiter. This is not what Jupiter looks like. This is a Photoshop. This is a joke. This is, sorry, this isn't real. The International Fake Station. So let's talk about that for a second. Now, the 747 is almost as large as the International Space Station. Pretty close. Now, when cruising at an altitude of 5 miles, the 747 appears as a small speck in the sky. Kind of look this right up here. And we've all looked up and seen them. If the 747 was twice the normal height, 10 miles, it would be unseeable with the human eye. But we're asked to believe that we can see the ISS at 50 times that height. Come on now. Another freaking joke. Here's a picture I took of the Mackinac Bridge in northern Michigan. It's a beautiful bridge. It's 5 miles across. I've driven across it many times. It's 5 miles. This is the Straits of Mackinac. On the other side, that's the shore of St. Ignace, 5 miles away. But according, let me bring up my flat Earth curve estimator here on my phone. So at 5 miles, there should be 16.67 feet of curvature. So see that white line right there? That is the shore of St. Ignace on the upper peninsula side of the Straits of Mackinac. That's the shoreline right at the beach. That should be 16 feet below the curve. But you can see all the way across. Notice how it's at. It goes right up to, like, if I was standing here, well, I was, and the shoreline, the horizon always rises to eye level. So right there, that's the beach at St. Ignace, Michigan. Again, I took this picture myself. No matter how high you ascend, you ever been up in a plane and noticed that the horizon always rises to your eye level? If this was a big giant ball, it would slope down. You would have to lift up and look out the window like that to see but no, it rises all the way to your eye level, no matter how high. That is, I'm guessing Mount Everest, but I can't tell you for sure. I didn't take this picture, but always rises to eye level. The horizon does. So Matthew 4:8 says, again, the devil took him, being Jesus, to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world in their glory. That must have been one tall mountain. Even from the moon, we cannot see all the kingdoms of the world. So how did that happen? Now, this is a common meme to try to discredit flat earthers. This is a false dichotomy. First of all, we don't believe that the earth is a flat disk floating out in space like this, because we don't believe any of this else exists out here. Outer space does not exist. So we do not believe that. This is all fake. It's all disinformation trying to make flat earth look stupid. So let's talk about navigation. People say, well, if the earth is flat, how can you navigate from east to west? Well, let's talk about circumnavigation of the supposed globe. East to west, west to east circumnavigations happen millions of times. But there's never been a true circumnavigation from north to south all the way around. Never. Now, there's someone who said they did, but what they did was a circle like this and came back up. They did not circumnavigate north to south because you can't. It's impossible. Here's again some more of those crepuscular rays showing that the sun looks like it's right there, right above the clouds. Now, we don't know how far up. It could be, I've heard figures from 72 to 100 to 3,000 miles. But still, it's not 93 million. And it's not that big. Yeah, does that look like it's 93 million miles lighting up just this area? And look at flat. Now, Barack Obama, I'm sorry. He said this several times. We don't have time. We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. But yet he says that right above the UN symbol, this is a flat earth map. Oh, the irony. The Flat Earth Society does not represent true flat earth believers. It's disinformation. They believe stupid things like we're a disk that's continuously rising at, I forget the correct speed, that causes the supposed gravity. That's not what we believe. Don't ever look at the Flat Earth Society. Let me zoom this in. So the globe is a lie built on satanic Freemason Kabbalistic paganism. They are hiding God. The earth is flat and motionless and was created by a loving God. Yeah, the globe is like this big old eye, like right there on the dollar bill. Yes, Freemasons have a lot to do with it. One of these days, I'm going to do a series on Freemasonry and secret societies, and even their connection to NASA and the space program. So this is pretty interesting. Apollo 8 was the first, let me zoom this in a little bit. Earthrise. So Apollo 8, the first supposed manned mission to the moon, entered lunar orbit on Christmas Eve, December 24th of 1968. That evening, the astronauts commander Frank Borman, command module pilot Jim Lovell, and lunar module pilot William Anders held a live broadcast from lunar orbit, in which they took this picture from the moon. Look how small Earth is, but yet we got this image from almost a million. Now, this is 238,000 miles from Earth. Look how small the Earth looks from the moon. But yet, this image taken from supposedly almost a million miles beyond Earth and past the moon. And there's actually like a video showing the Earth, moon supposedly going across. But look how, don't you think the Earth wouldn't look small like that if it was right there? How fake is that? How fake? So, pardon me for a second. Oops, here's another picture. This one was taken from Mackinac Island, which is about 7 miles from the mainland. This is Mackinac City in the Lower Peninsula. This picture, there's a lot of waves, so that's going to distort and a lot of moisture in the air. But you can see these pylons here on the bottom of the or the not the tall parts of the pylons, but you can see these things here. They're about, I think they're about 10 to 15 feet above the water line. So at this distance, they should not be able to be seen. And I'm not positive on that, but you can see a little bit of the lightness. But see, the way our and I hate to use the word atmosphere, but we don't have a better word for that at the moment. The air, there's moisture in the air, so it becomes very opaque to see at a distance, to see through it. It's kind of like looking through a swimming pool. You can't see very far. But again, those bottoms of those pylons should not be able to be seen from 7 miles. Well, this is probably about 5 miles. Still unable to be seen. Now, this is an interesting one. Polaris, right there, is our North Star. Now, if you combine the rotation of the Earth with its 23.4-degree tilt and the spin of the Earth relative to the sun's orbit, all that together would make the permanently stationed pole star, or Polaris, impossible on a globe model. There's no way that that would stay in the same spot millennia after millennia, and the stars circling around perfectly. This is a time-lapse photo, and it wouldn't happen. They'd be all over the place if the Earth was moving the way they say it is. But essentially 4 different directions. It's spinning, it's orbiting the sun, and then it's chasing after the sun. Proofs of the globe. NASA images. But their NASA artist says it has to be photoshopped. Public indoctrination. We know because the scientists said so. Yeah, we know we trust scientists. They're the ones that also tell us that we evolved from pond scum and monkeys and stuff. Popular opinion. Just because everybody believes something doesn't mean to make it true. Everybody believes that well, I don't want to say everybody. Most people believe, well, I don't even know if most people believe that Joe Biden's a good president, but we know that's not true. So how does it work? Well, we can't say we know for sure, but because we don't have the budget to do experiments like the government can. It's like they're supposed to. But basically, the sun is small and local, same size as the moon, and they travel around the center, which is the North Pole. And the sun goes a little faster than the moon, so it laps it. And that's how you get your changes in the moons. And as it travels, it goes out wider and wider and faster, and then it hits its the tropic of, I forget which is which, tropic of the tropics. There's Cancer and Capricorn. I forget which is which. Then it starts to slow down as it moves back in towards the other tropic. Out here it would be winter for us, and here would be summer for us. But basically, the sun and the moon are like hands on a clock. Wherever the sun is, it's noon. Static Astronomy is a book I recommend by Samuel Rowbotham. He's done a lot of experiments on the flat Earth. It's a good book. I've read it. Excuse me, I'm having my dessert. I love my ice cream. Georgia Guidestones. Well, it's kind of hard to check these now since mysteriously they got blown up, but they proved the Earth was flat, and I think that's probably why they blew them up, because they didn't want anybody to realize that. But that little hole always pointed to Polaris, the North Star. Well, if everything's moving like they say it is, eventually that would move. Never did. Over the 40+ years that a monument was standing. Now that flat Earth is becoming more prevalent, understanding people that are understanding about the flat Earth, they had to probably destroy it so they couldn't, use that as proof. I don't know. Now, let's talk about this one. Gyroscopes prove the Earth does not spin. You held a gyroscope? Once you get it wound up spinning, it's almost impossible to change its orientation. Gyroscopes are what are used in airplanes to tell the attitude of the plane, of its level, of its, heading towards the ground. But if they were spinning, if the Earth was a globe like this, the airplanes traveling at 500 miles per hour would have to nose down every few minutes, or they continue straight, they'd end up out in space. But they don't. They don't nose down. They do fly straight, because this is a fake. This is fake. The Earth doesn't look like this. It's level. Emergency landing in Calgary. So emergency landings kind of help prove a flat Earth also. So this flight is traveling from Dallas to Beijing, but there was an emergency, so they went to Calgary, which is up here. But if you look on the flat Earth, Calgary is right along the flight path. This book here is 16 Emergency Landings. You can get it on Amazon, but there's also a PDF version online that you can download for free. It talks about all these emergency landings that prove that the Earth is flat. Here's that standard map of the world, the Gleason's map. It says on the map, when was this printed? I don't know if I can find the date on it. Well, I'm not finding a date that I can read. But this map says on the projection of modern. This is what's used to make flight paths. It's pretty complicated to get different solstices and how you can calculate the movement of the sun and the moon. Okay, so we got here. So spinning balls. So you got gravitational acceleration divided by the what's R? Is that rate? Forget. But a tennis ball weighs 60 grams, 6.5 centimeters in diameter. The gravitational acceleration at its surface is, well, this is all math, it's beyond me. But if you look at this, you spin this little ball and water doesn't stick to it. You think it would have enough, if larger masses attract smaller particles, you think it would stick there, but it doesn't. Now let's look at but supposedly the Earth Okay, I'm gonna skip this one because you know I'm confusing myself because I don't know. Math is not my strong suit. Let's go back to something I may I'll explain a little better. I don't want to sound too much like an idiot here. Here's another one with emergency landings. A flight from Argentina to India can only happen when they stop over in Europe. Why not anywhere in Africa? Because Earth is not a globe. Why does it have to go up here and then down instead of just straight across? Because actually, straight across is the direct route. Oh, here's that again. I'm not going to go to the ISS again. Well, supposedly India just went to the moon. What a joke that was. This was their, this is what they showed everybody. Now, of course, we know this is, I mean, that's not a real picture, but that's what they used to convince everybody that they went to the moon. Ah, stupid. So this is Mount Canigou in France from 175 miles away. You can see the tops of these mountains from that distance. The top of this mountain should be miles below the horizon, should not be visible. I don't know if it's like 40 miles below the horizon if it was on a curve to Earth. Here's another one of those emergency flights from London to Islamabad in Pakistan, emergency landing in Moscow. So here's their flight path. It's supposed to go from here, it was going to London. And it went up here for an emergency landing. Why didn't it just stop at any way along here? Because this is the correct path. And Moscow is right in the way, or along the way. So this is what we believe. We live in the Antarctic basin. Sorry, my sister. So we live in the Antarctic basin, and I won't get into this, but according to the Antarctic Treaty, no independent exploration is allowed past the 60th parallel. So if anybody asks why we don't go out and get pictures of the edge, we can't. Now we're allowed either going to prison or getting shot down. I believe this was taken in Frankfort, Michigan. I think I took this picture of Lake Michigan. It's kind of hazy out there, but you can see that this is all flat out here. But if you look at the from here to here, it's probably a few miles. You would think there would be some kind of curve along there, but there's not. It's flat. Oh, yep, there I am. That's me at Lake Michigan. Boy, this is an old picture. This is a long time, even before I knew about flat Earth. Like this, I think my mom took this picture. Here's Eric Dubé's 200 proofs Earth is not a spinning ball. I personally don't really care for Eric Dubé as a person, but he does have a lot of good information in this book if you can get a hold of a copy and read it. He's he believes in the Eastern religions, which goes against everything I believe in. Where's the curvature? This is a weather balloon, 120,000 feet. Again, notice that the horizon rises to eye level. And again, flat as a pancake, flatter than a pancake. Okay, so some of the some people say, well, they believe the Earth is a globe because they've seen pictures of it. Which picture do you think is the real one? These are all different images that NASA has official NASA images saying this is what the Earth looks like. Boy, it sure changes a lot. Must be that global warming stuff. I mean, look how big some of the continents are, and then how sticky they are. Here. America here versus America here. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this spells out sex right here. Isn't that interesting? So here's that. Okay, here's that picture of the moon again. The Earth wouldn't look like this if this was what the moon looked like. It would look more like this. Wouldn't you think? Space from Earth. You can see all these beautiful stars. But you get on the moon, where it's darker, you'd think you would see more stars, but oh, my, they're not there. Oops, here's another picture of artist's conception of what we think it is. A lot of ice out there. Who knows what's out in Antarctica out there? Look at this thing. Do you honestly believe that they went to the moon and left the moon in that thing? I could build something better than that out in my workshop. How retarded. This is so flipping ignorant. Tin foil, cardboard. Yeah, okay. I took this picture here in the top of the St. Louis Arch. It's hard to tell because there's a lot of glare, but that's pretty flat across there too. See, flat. The only thing that might have looked a little curvy is I think the windows might have created a bit of an optical illusion there. Those windows in that arch are pretty thick. Again, looks pretty flat. Is what you believe true, or do you just believe that it's true because you were taught it was true? It never looked any further. How much research has any of you actually done? How many of you know what the speeds and the distances and all this stuff of the globe? The solar system, luring people away from God for 500 years. The heliocentric model with a spinning ball Earth is the foundation for the godless Big Bang theory, evolution, and atheism. Just think about that. The Big Bang doesn't work unless you got a universe out there. What makes more sense? 1.5 quadrillion tons of water, 6 perfectly level on a ball that is spinning faster than the speed of sound while spiraling around a burning ball of hydrogen 50 times that speed, and also chasing that burning ball at about 700 times the speed of sound. Or the Earth is flat and stationary, and water seeks its level just like we see. Come on. Don't just believe something because they tell you. Don't believe anything I say. Research it yourself. All we have to do is stand up and their little game is over. If people would really open their eyes to see who's controlling things and see who is actually in control, meaning Jesus Christ, if people would turn to him, then we would have more power than they could ever stop us with. Now, I'm not sure if this is an actual quote of like Tesla. It wouldn't surprise me. Oops. He said Earth is a realm and not a planet. It's not an object, therefore it has no edge. more easily defined as a system environment. Earth is also a machine. It's a Tesla coil. The sun and moon are powered wirelessly with the electromagnetic field, the ether. This field also suspends the celestial spheres with electromagnetic levitation. Electromagnetic levitation just proves gravity, because the only force you need to counter is the electromagnetic force, not gravity. The stars are attached to the firmament. Whether he said that or not, I believe that's what it is. I think that's what it is. It's got to be something. I dare you to open it just for the fun of it. So you do see it. Earth is flat. Okay, here's the spherical. Here is spherical geometry for the curvature. So at 1 mile, obviously land is not perfectly flat. The only way you can really determine these figures is over large bodies of water. But so like I said about Mackinac, 5 miles was 16 feet, 7 miles was 32 feet. So buildings don't tilt. So if the earth was a globe, if you looked at a building in the distance, it wouldn't be up straight. It would be kind of leaning over a little bit. Why would they lie about the shape of the earth? If they said the earth was flat, what would your questions be? Where's the edge? What's on the other side? Is there a barrier? What's it look like? What's it made out of? Can we see it? How old is it? Who made it? To avoid answering these questions, I simply simplified, eliminated them, making it a ball. They created a prison without walls. Think about it. Theoretically, it's not even a good theory. The universe could have been, how do I say this? If there's a universe out there, everything is up in question. But if there's not a universe, everything is enclosed, then that makes you wonder, well, how did it all come to be? And what else is there? This is, I think, a picture I took when I was last time I flew from North Carolina to Michigan. It was pretty flat. So here, okay, this is a good one. Here's the flat. This is what it looks like. This is what we believe it looks like. With all the stars, you got the firmament, and how stars. This is how stars appear in real life because they're going around the central area. But this is what the globe theory looks like. Got this big ball of gas flying through space. An impossibility. What's propelling it? But if we had all these motions, this is what the stars would look like. It wouldn't look perfectly round, circular like that. Back in 1931, I believe it's 31, August Picard, a Swiss physicist, inventor, and explorer, got in a balloon and he went as high as he could to the upper atmosphere, and he said the earth looked flat, and it looked like the outward edge was slightly upturned. Well, this is an artist's conception of the firmament and the stars and the throne. I'm gonna We are here. Where's heaven? Well, I personally believe that heaven's another dimension, so I won't go into this mean. But he did rise physically. Where'd he go? So these are some things to research. Aries failure, the Michelson-Morley experiment, the Stagnac experiment, Bedford level experiment, conservation energy principle, laws of perspective, second law of thermodynamics, gyroscopes, all prove the Earth is flat and stationary. This is the biggest religion in the world, scientism. Fanatical cult that demands blind faith and unproven theories is absolute truth. Helios, the sun god. And you got all the planets named after pagan gods, except Earth. For religion. Okay. There's Chicago, seen from almost 60 miles away. The tallest building should be the top of the tallest building should be well below the curb. Hopefully, one of these days, I'm going to go to where this picture is taken. And I'm going to try to see it with my own eyes. I don't look too far from there. So this is how things stay down. Electromagnetic force. It's like a battery, an electrical system. I can't read all this, so I'm just going to go on. Oops, this is a scientist, not a scientist, an astronaut. Maybe he's a scientist. He said that we can only fly in low Earth orbit, the farthest we can go. So how did these guys get to the moon? Because of the Van Allen radiation belts. Oh, here they are in their little training, or where they make the spacewalk films, videos. You have these green screen and blue screen, and this is what you get. Isn't that amazing? What you can do with the green screen. Here's a map that they found in the early 1900s. That was found in a Chinese Buddhist temple or something. That was, hundreds of years old. It makes it look like there's other continents out there. Here's one of those emergency landings. Instead of going right this way and landing in Africa somewhere, they went all the way up to Rome and down. But if you look at the flat Earth map, Rome is right along the flight path. There's another one. Now, you actually think this is a real picture. Who took that picture? And we can control this thing from 365 million miles away remotely. Shoot, half of us, half the time, we can't remotely control our TV in our living room. Look at this joke. $38 million for a dune buggy with lawn chairs, an umbrella. How come there's no tracks where these tires were? Does it fly too? $38 million. That's in 1971. So here's there's the Antarctic ice wedge. Did you know that Antarctica is the It has the highest elevation of any of the continents. It holds the water in. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up for Phlatt Friday. I'm gonna also add a video from one of the Flat Earth groups or podcasts that I watch. Thanks for watching. And hold on a second, Rob.